Please welcome the one and only
George
Foreman, the third.
Today I'm here to talk to you about fighting. What it means, fighting, the fighter's mentality, how fighters think. Everybody stand up real quick. All right, hands up. I'm gonna show you a yoga move. This is the only one I know, by the way. I'm not a yogi. Hands up, reach. Now that's supposed to do like something great for your hormones, okay? That's all I know about yoga, all right? Now, what I want you to do now, I'm gonna teach you about boxing. Take your left foot, put it in front of your right. Bend your knees. Hands up, chin down. Left hand jab. Pull it back, right hand, shoot. That's your right hand. And then pull that right hand, left hook. All right, go ahead and have a seat. Everybody. That is boxing. That's boxing. Fighting is something totally different. Fighting happens here, between your ears. If you don't know how to fight, you can't compete at the highest levels. Everybody! A little louder, everybody! Because in my opinion, fighting is it's another word it's actually the word in my opinion, for resolving conflict. Responding to these conflicts, especially as an organization, with this fighter's mentality, it's the key to building the collective character to compete at the highest levels, especially in the future. I'll tell you a little bit about me. I went to Pepperdine University, studied business, went to Rice University, studied sports management, and I got a gig working with my dad. We were selling these little grilling machines. And we sold a lot of them. And in the process of selling $5 billion, believe it or not, of lean, mean, fat reducing grilling machines, I gained 100 pounds. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna learn to box. That's the motivation I need. This is how I learned to fight. I'm sure most of you guys know this guy over here. That's Muhammad Ali. Anyone heard of Muhammad Ali? How many of you have heard of the rumble in the jungle? There we go, okay, good. Now, how many of you have heard of the rope-a-dope? Now, that guy over here, that's my father, that's the dope. He's actually the original dope, like the original dope. So my dad said, why don't you have a pro fight? I said, okay. He said, okay, if you're gonna have a pro fight, I gotta train you. I said, okay. And then he said, all right, well, if I'm gonna train you, the first thing you have to do, so I was like, oh, he's gonna show me how to use that jab, and the first thing you have to do is you have to run 10 miles in boots. So then I graduated to a Jeep, had to pull that for a mile. The sports writers, Yahoo Sports, they call this the torture chamber. Then dig holes until I can't get out. And then at that point he says, oh, by the way, can you put the dirt back in? Then the holes got bigger. And then chopping wood. And up steps this guy, and he's got muscles, like every muscle you can dream of, boom, 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 muscles coming out of his forehead. And like I swear he had muscles under his fingertips, like in his forehead, behind his ears, and he's flexing, looking at me. First round, stepping with that jab, boom, he drops the right hand, I hit the ground. And I found out by watching the tape, I don't even remember that. And I get up and the referee's, 1 potato, 2 tomato. And I look at my corner and they're like, oh my God, because my dad never worked in my corner. He was afraid, but he was my only trainer. He's in the front row and I said, look at him, he said, don't worry, just use your feet, use your legs. So I got a little bounce in my step. I'm like, I still don't know what they're talking about. And I got out there and sure enough, right uppercut, left hook, and before I could throw the next punch, he's hit the ground. And so I got out of there. So I go to my dad, and the first thing he said is, a little different when the rabbits got the gun, right? And I laughed, but I said, Dad, really? When I hit that ground, were you afraid? He said, no, I wasn't scared at all. And he said, actually, I was a little more afraid for the other guy. And I said, really? And he said, yeah. And I said, why? He said, because I saw the blood in your boots. I saw that. He said, I saw you pulling that thing in the dirt when there was no chance that it was ever gonna move, but you kept pulling. He said, I saw you running so hard that you passed out in mid-stride, and then you passed out and you hit the ground so hard that you woke up. You didn't say anything. He said, I saw all this, so I knew you had it in you, the ingredient to respond to conflict with character. So I was more afraid for the other guy. And it was at that moment I realized that maybe all this time he wasn't teaching me to box. Other people could do that. He was teaching me to fight. Thank you. I hate to give him credit. I hate it. I hate to give him credit. And so my point in closing is that we are going to live and die in this new age by how we respond to conflict. And I ask you to make a commitment to respond as a fighter with your employees, with your clients, when it comes to conflict. and to use these as an opportunity to reinforce your culture. But look for those little tomato cans, those small conflicts. You're in a meeting and you say something and someone rolls their eyes. That's an opportunity. That's a tomato can. Someone sends you an email and they put that unnecessary CC, tomato can. That's a sign, that's your cue that you and that person need to have a better relationship. They can just pick up the phone and call you. Use those as opportunities to prepare for the big fights. Because we live in a day and age where we all know everybody's scrambling to keep up with all the innovation in tech, the innovation in content and delivery of content. And it's my opinion that in this day and age, the most cutting edge innovation that you can apply to your company, your content, to your culture is showing, especially in extreme times of conflict, that your organization has the character and the willingness to respond the way a fighter would. Thank you.